The Reserve Bank is fast running out of ammunition. It is on public record that if it gets down to 25 basis points, the next step is quantitative easing.
Yep.
Pressure now on the federal government to do more on the fiscal front.
Absolutely. Well, that's been there for ages, let's be honest. And I think Jim Chalmers is dead right to be saying that they need to be out there. We have heard that obviously yesterday, and again, it was very interesting to hear what the Prime Minister said with highly aligned, whatever that is. We still don't actually have seen the policy. So you would expect in the next 48 hours to see something at least come out there. I think what I'll concentrate on for you, because you need to start getting your head around what quantitative easing in Australia would look like. As simply as I can say it to you, Australia has, unlike the US where they have the mortgage-backed securities markets, we have cash markets here and money markets as we call them. And this is where the banks get most of their funding from. What is likely to happen, according to Guy Debelle, who's the deputy, is that the RBA, and this is where simply prints money and will buy those rates. And what that therefore does is that it will pull the rates down by buying them up. So all of a sudden your 60, 90, 120 and 365-day rates gets lower, which means the rates that the banks are borrowing at gets lower and cheaper, and by theory, that should be transferred through. So that is the simplest way I can say what QE looks like being in Australia. It's still got a long way to go, but that is what you now need to start getting your heads around, is that they're going to try and make money as cheap as they possibly can.
Just on a separate but very related matter, I mean, we've seen on the front pages of all the papers today, people saying, echoing the government's calls, now Australia, you need to get back and start spending. You need to start spending, and it's one of the reasons for cutting interest rates. Are people going to do that?
So this is a great question. And the reason I say that, this is where I get my economics hat on, is that yes, it's a good thing for the economy. The question that everybody in the economics world, including myself, was asking is that for the first time, whenever this has happened, we have a supply chain issue first. So yes, you can consume, but if you go back, let's look at 2007 and what Kevin Rudd did with the $700 that you got given to you to try and go and spend and help the economy. It's basically the same theory. People went out and bought a TV, people went and bought out a reasonable size, mid-size item. Catch is that TV probably won't be there when you need to do it. And the demand for them, and the stat that's really interesting, it's a very, very sort of quantitative stat. China on average produces 2 million TVs per month. Last month, only 100,000. So if you put that into the situation that's probably going to happen again in March and possibly even into April, when you are told to go and consume, and maybe we get a stimulus package like 2007, again, don't know, the consumption is different now because they may not actually be there. So this is why economically it's such an interesting question, and why, again, I'm going to use Jay Powell's words, so fluid and nobody actually knows the fallout. That's the risk. That is the risk.
And still with your economics hat on, I'm glad you've got it on. Is there an economic theory to explain this run on toilet paper?
Is there? Again, no, there isn't. And the other thing, that the economic side of it that's very interesting though, is that obviously we know from the health experts that this is a 14-day gestation period.
Yep.
That amount of toilet paper is not needed in 14 days, or at least I wouldn't have thought so, particularly when this is more likely to be a cold-related symptom rather than any sort of gastro-related symptom. So the other question is that, yes, there are suppliers out there that are generating at 24-hour day. In the months to come, all of a sudden people are going to have this bulk stocked scenario where all of a sudden it goes again backwards. So oversupply, demand doesn't exist because they don't need it.
And the share prices of the toilet companies will bottom out.
Yes. Oh, good pun. Another one. You're on fire today.
He got that one from Lara.
No, that's all mine. I'm going to take credit for that one.
Yeah, dang.